Knowledge can be acquired, you can't learn to be smart. Whether a person is smart or stupid is determined at birth. But no matter how smart you are, you won't get smarter if you don't learn from others. No matter how smart a person is, if he doesn't learn other people's knowledge, he can't build an airplane mobile phone with his own intelligence alone. The book I'm explaining now, this is the best book in the world, teach you to be smart. The author of this book is Guiguzi. Guiguzi is a very mysterious figure in Chinese history. He is known as a strange man through the ages. Wisdom. Guiguzi is endowed with unrivaled knowledge, outstanding wisdom. Guiguzi is hailed as the smartest novel in China. The Emperor of China has been prohibiting people from reading this book, because he was worried that the people would become wise and overthrow his rule. This book was only allowed to be read by the emperor in ancient times. Su Qin was a famous political strategist in ancient China. In order to study this book, he forgot to eat and sleep, afraid that he would fall asleep, so he stabbed his leg with a sharp knife. After studying this book, he became the Prime Minister of 6 countries. This is the book of the highest wisdom in China. The wisdom in this book can be used not only in war, but also in business, making friends, life, and any other aspects. The wisdom of this book can be used to persuade others, persuade countries, and persuade everyone. The knowledge in this book can change a person's life and turn ordinary people into successful people. If you were an emperor, what would you do with this book? Would you let all the people read it? Everyone in China who knows this book is quietly studying it. This book says, beetles know to use their hard shells in defense, poisonous snakes know to use their venom in attack. Even beetles and snakes know to use their best skills. Why don't people use their own wisdom? You don't learn strategies, you don't use the strategies, are you waiting for them to use them against you? The strategies that wise people implement all use secret tricks. The laws of the world are in favor of those who are wise and far-sighted. Even great people use intrigue trick. A sage are not upholding justice and goodness. No distinction between good and evil. Equal treatment. Because there is good and evil in this world, there is light and there is darkness. Saints do not maintain good, they just maintain balance, so that both good and evil exist. A sage do not do good or evil, they only act according to the laws of all things. We can't just think that human nature is inherently good, nor can we only think that human nature is inherently evil. It should be a balance of good and evil. For example, when couples fall in love and give everything to their loved ones, is this a good thing? This is not good. This kind of love, because it can't tolerate small mistakes, on the contrary, it is easier to break up. But in the end we cannot be together because of this. Too hard and easy to break, white is clean and stains easily. But what we usually learn is to be kind and trustworthy, and to be ignorant of the dark and sinister world. So many people are very confused when they grow up. Why they are kind and sincere, but their lover chooses a person who can only talk good but not trustworthy. I am so serious and honest, but at work, I am not as good as those flattering people. As long as you learn Guiguzi, all these problems in life can be solved. There are 14 chapters in Guiguzi, the last 2 of which have been lost. If you know Chinese, you can find this book to read. Maybe you know the words in this book, but you don't understand the meaning. Because this is an ancient book. Although the characters are the same, the meaning is different from today's. The following explains the first chapter: open and close, open the inner world of others, change the other person's thoughts. Looking at the history of ancient times, The reason why those wise men and sages in ancient times became prophets and foresighters of all living beings is because they can observe the law of the change of yin and yang in everything in the world, and can further understand the key factors for the survival of things and summarize and classify these things, and can also understand the key reasons for the formation, development, and extinction of all things. They understand how everything in the world begins, how it develops, and predicts its future outcome. Insight into people's psychological characteristics, observe the signs of changes in things and personnel in the world, so as to grasp the key to the development and changes of things. Therefore, from ancient times to the present, sages, wise people in the world have followed the same rules to conduct themselves in society. It can be seen from this that although things in the world are infinitely varied, they all have their own laws of change. Some are yin and some are yang, some are soft, while others are hard, some are open, some are closed, some manifest as flaccidity, others as tightness. Therefore, when a wise person deals with worldly affairs, he will always discover the law of development of things, grasp the key to things, examine the process of development of things, study the laws of change of things, and use this to review priorities, weigh importance and impact, to measure the resourcefulness of the other party, assess his ability to complete the task. If you want to manipulate a person, you must first identify what kind of person this person belongs to. There are differences in people's personalities. Some are virtuous and some are unworthy, some are wise and some are stupid, some are brave and some are cowardly, some benevolence and righteousness. There is a difference between everyone. People's conduct varies in thousands ways, and their qualities are in thousands of ways. Therefore, it is necessary to adopt different countermeasures for different character qualities. Praise the virtuous and oppress the unworthy, promote the wise and depose the stupid, make the brave rich, and make the coward poor. Let benevolence and righteousness act according to one's own nature. In a word, we should treat people separately and control them according to their different natures. Examining a person, examine and judge the ability of the other party and whether it is true or not, and examine whether he has real talents and real learning. To cater to his preferences and secretly observe his words, analyze his aspirations and intentions through his desires and desires. Secretly investigate and analyze what the other party said, explore his inner world and true intentions, so as to understand his personality characteristics. Sometimes questioning, sometimes agreeing, let the other party speak freely. We can open his inner world and achieve our goal when we have grasped the essence of the other party's words and deeds, so as to explore his interests. Open up the other person's inner world, assess the other party's true intentions. Discovering that the other party's inner thoughts are not in line with our interests, and we need to terminate the other person's intentions. How to terminate others' intentions? For example, me, Mr. James and Mr. David all like the beautiful girl Mary. After I talked with Mr. James, I learned that Mr. James likes ladylike girls. After talking with Mr. David, I learned that the girl he likes only needs to be pretty. I told Mr. James that Mary likes to go to bars at night, and she was pregnant when she was in school. I told Mr. David that Miss Mary's ex-boyfriend was fascinated by Miss Mary's beauty. Mary cheated him of all his money and made him owe a lot of debts, and then broke up with him. I told Mary that Mr. James is a person with a strong sense of control, and he doesn't allow his ex-girlfriend to talk to any man. I told Ms. Mary that Mr. David was very promiscuous and that he would go after any pretty girl. He has many ex-girlfriends. Hide one's intentions so as not to be taken advantage of by the other party. To study whether the strategy is feasible, you must study the other party's strategy clearly and understand the similarities and differences between your own thinking and the other party's thinking. Grasp the key to cooperation, first follow its aspirations. This sentence, grasp the key to cooperation, first follow its aspirations. I use the following story to explain this sentence. Zheng Xiu was the favorite concubine of King Huai of Chu, the king of Chu during the Warring States period. King Wei Hui, the king of the state of Wei, gave a beautiful woman from the state of Wei to King Huai of Chu. King Huai of Chu liked Wei Nu very much. Zheng Xiu learned that King Huai of Chu liked the newly married Wei Nu. So Zheng Xiu was afraid that he would fall out of favor, so he designed a scheme to frame Wei Nu. On the surface, Zheng Xiu loved Wei Nu very much. He chose clothes and jewelry that she liked and sent them to Wei Nu. It seemed that he liked Wei Nu more than King Huai of Chu. King Huai of Chu thought they were good friends. This made King Huai of Chu very happy. Wei Nu regarded Zheng Xiu as a good friend. Zheng Xiu said to Wei Nu, "The king dotes on you and especially likes the way you cover your nose. The way you cover your nose is so beautiful, so when you see the king, you must cover your nose, so that the king will love you more." So Wei Nu obeyed Zheng Xiu's words and covered her nose every time she saw King Huai of Chu. King Huai of Chu said to Zheng Xiu, "When Wei Nu saw me, she covered her nose." "Why?" Zheng Xiu replied, "I can't say." King Huai of Chu insisted on asking Zheng Xiu. Zheng Xiu said, "You can't be angry." King Huai of Chu said, "Even if you have any bad words, you should say them." Zheng Xiu said, "Wei Nu said she hated smelling your smell." King Huai of Chu said, "What a bad woman. Cut off her nose." The nose of Wei Nu was cut off, and Wei Nu lost the favor of King Huai of Chu. Why does Wei Nu believe what Zheng Xiu said? That's because grasp the key to cooperation, first follow its aspirations. If you want to open up the other person's inner world, you must carefully plan and think carefully. If you want to change the other person's intentions, you must strictly keep it secret and never let others know about it. Carry out your secret plan, just like intangible laws are supporting and controlling, so that others cannot see that your strategy is working. Open the other person's heart and understand their true thoughts. When the other party's intention is not good for me, I must change the other party's intention. Weighing the pros and cons based on the known situation and making predictions, the sage considers things based on this. When our strategy cannot solve the problem and cannot change the other party's intentions, we need to redesign our strategy. When opening the other party's inner world, we should constantly test the other party's true thoughts. When the other party's strategy does not meet our needs, we must change the other party's intentions or leave him. Explain this sentence with the following historical story. Qin Xiaogong recruited talents for governing the country from all over the world, and Shang Yang applied for them. Shang Yang met Qin Xiaogong for the first time. Shang Yang explained to Qin Xiaogong how to govern the country according to nature. Qin Xiaogong was not satisfied. Shang Yang met Qin Xiaogong for the second time. Shang Yang explained to Qin Xiaogong how to govern the country with moral methods. But Qin Xiaogong was still dissatisfied. Shang Yang met Qin Xiaogong for the third time. Shang Yang explained to Qin Xiaogong how to rule the country by strengthening the country and weakening the people. Qin Xiaogong was very satisfied. He chatted with Shang Yang for 3 days and 3 nights, and handed over the country to Shang Yang to manage. Qin's state became very powerful under the governance of Shang Yang. Shang Yang is constantly testing Qin Xiaogong's true thoughts. Finally, understand how Qin Xiaogong wants to govern the country. Qin way to deal with Shang Yang is that when the opponent's strategy does not meet his requirements, just leave him. It is equivalent to changing him. Not hiring means leaving him, forcing Shang Yang to change his approach. Shang Yang used the art of opening, Qin Xiaogong used the art of closing. This is the art of opening and the art of closing. The method of opening and closing is the law of the operation of heaven and earth. The way of opening and closing makes yang and yin change, and the 4 seasons operate. Spring is the way of opening, and winter is the way of closing, which drives the growth of all things. Growth is the way of opening, and death is the way of closing. Union and division, repeat back and forth, upside down swap, become the opposite. These are the driving effects of the way art of opening and the way art of closing. The art of opening and closing is the operation of the inner law of the world. To achieve change through persuasion, it is necessary to anticipate what change will happen, because it is a matter of life and death. Mouth is the window to express inner thoughts. Inner thoughts are dictated by mind control. Will, preferences, emotions, desires, thoughts and strategies are all expressed through the mouth. The art of opening and closing is realized by the mouth, and the mouth is the key to control. The art of opening refers to speaking, making public, displaying, and understanding, which belong to yang. The art of closing refers to hiding, closing, changing, and leaving, which belongs to yin. Knowing the coordination and alternate use of the way of yin and yang, you can end what you don't want and start what you want. Therefore, longevity, happiness, wealth, honor, fame, hobbies, wealth, pride, liking, lust, etc., all manifest as yang, which can be called a beginning. Death, sorrow, poverty, hard work, humiliation, destruction, loss, defeat, injury, frustration, disaster, execution, punishment, etc., all manifest as yin, which can be called termination. Words belonging to the category of yang are words of life wishes. Words belonging to the category of yin are life-disgusting words. Use yang language to persuade the other party to do things that are beneficial to oneself. Use yin language to persuade the other party to end things that are detrimental to oneself. The art of opening and closing, using yin and yang to persuade, using yang words to make the other party feel noble, using yin words to make the other party feel humble, use belittling to make the other party feel small, use elevating to make the other party feel great. Use this method to persuade. There is no intelligence that cannot be obtained, no inner world that cannot be entered. There is nothing that cannot be done. It can persuade people, it can convince the country, it can convince the world. No matter how small the matter may be, no matter how big the matter is, gain, loss, tenure, resignation, departure, stay, betrayal, loyalty, severance, return, all this can be harnessed through the path of yin and yang. Make it run with the yang method, stop it with the yin method, make it appear with the yang method, hide it with the yin method. The use of the yang method to obtain information is ultimately to be able to perform the yin method. After using the yin method, the ultimate goal is to obtain the yang result. When using the yang method, it will be accompanied by generation rules. When using the yin method, you will be assisted by the situation. Use the yang method to seek the yin result, and use the rules to implement it. To obtain the result of yang by using yin method, external force must be applied. To seek yin with yang and yang with yin, you need to use the technique of opening and closing. This is the law of yin and yang in this world, ways to conquer the world with your mouth, the beginning of everything, and the key control of the laws of heaven and earth. It is the key control of the law of heaven and earth. This is the end of the first chapter of this book. There are more than 10 chapters in this book. This chapter took me many days, because I need to translate ancient Chinese into modern Chinese. It is difficult to find the correct translation on the internet, and there are too many incorrect translations on the internet. I will make the second chapter next time. I only know a little Hmong. If you know Hmong, you can translate it into Hmong, read it to the Hmong people, and make the Hmong smarter. This is my wish. Let's stop here. Thank you. Goodbye.